Hey, what's up? It's CJ here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, I'm kind of thrown off just a little bit today because there's a noise in my house somewhere that I've been trying to find and I can't find it. I don't know where it's coming from, and it's gonna drive me crazy. So I gotta find it, but we're gonna proceed with the video because it's a distraction and I need to focus on what we're doing. I got a quick question for you though. Have you ever wondered what actually makes a post go viral? A social media post, those videos that just like go viral, right? I just recently posted a video. It did well. I posted a video about my wife, the gift that I made for my wife, and it is a post that kind of did well for the time period that it's been out. It's only been out for a couple of days and it's doing well right now. So that sparked me to want to talk about it. But here's the thing, right? Virality is not the goal. And today we're going to talk about virality, going viral, and why it is not the goal. So what makes a post go viral? And I wanted to break this down because I know there's a lot of people who do want to create content and there's a lot of people who do want to get in the game, but there is a trap set for you in this content creation game. So if you're getting into content creation, I think it's super important to understand and know what the landscape is, right? Right now, the landscape is, you post videos to make money. You see people making money posting videos, and then you say, hey, well, I want to post videos too. I could do this and I can do that. And it's ultimately led us to a place where content creation is driven by earning money, right? And ultimately, in the capitalistic society that we're in, it ends up coming to a place where we are now, where it becomes disingenuous and unreal, and not to serve a purpose, but to just do the thing for the sake of doing it, for the sake of earning and making money. It leads to greed, and it leads to, people just doing whatever it takes to make money. Greed and corruption. And that's what the social media landscape is right now. And I want to talk about it because I feel like no one's really talking about it, but I also feel like it's wrong to talk about it. It's almost like, you're at work in corporate and you don't want to ask the person next to you, hey, how much money do you make? Like, how much money are they paying you? Oh, for real, they're not paying me that. They paying you that? But we do the same thing, right? And so it's like one of those like you don't talk about other people creating. Today, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to talk about some other people, but I'm also going to save a lot of that for another video. But let's just break down what shareability is and what makes a post go viral. I believe that the most important thing to create a viral video is to make the video shareable. Why should someone who is watching that video share this video to a friend? And to me, that's what ultimately every viral video that I have has been shared a lot of times, which means someone watched the video and they wanted someone else to watch that video. And so when you have that factor going on where someone is watching a video and they say, oh, this is so good, I want such and such to see it. I want to share this video with my husband, my wife, my best friend, my mom, my dad, my little sister, my brother, whatever it is, right? If a post makes someone want to do that, you have the recipe for virality or going viral. And, so my recent post, let's look at that, for example. My recent post was a video about a gift that I gave to my wife. And what makes that video shareable is that there's a couple of factors involved with that. One, it was Valentine's Day, right? Valentine's Day came by, people are giving gifts, blah, blah, blah. So it was a season or a day of giving gifts, right? And so people are sharing the gifts that they gave. And then, the other part of it is that the video featured me creating a item for my wife. And I had a story behind it. I had a story to tell behind that. Now, I think what makes it shareable is that one of the things that I spoke about and one of the things that I was doing is something that people commonly experience, the loss of a parent. My wife lost her dad, and the video was me creating a gift for her and showing me create something to help her soften the blow of losing a parent. And that part in itself is something that's shareable. Why? Because a lot of people experience that same thing, and a lot of people see that, they feel and understand themselves in that, and they say, hey, you know what, I lost my dad too. I'm gonna share this with my sister who we lost our dad, and I think this is a great gift. Or someone who I know lost a parent or someone else as well, and this will be a cool idea for me to do for them. So either I save it or I share it with someone else who may be experiencing this thing, or someone else who I want to see this. And so there's a psychology there, right? There's a emotional connection there with the post and what it means to not only me and my wife, but also to other people. And so having that connection, having that shareability factor is important. And so now here comes the question, right? Do I go through that process before I make the video? No, I don't. I don't sit there and I say, oh yeah, like this is going to be shareable because, that, disconnects with this. A lot of people, like everything I just explained to you, that happens after the fact, right? I didn't make that video for that reason, right? I made that video. One, the funny part is I made the video mostly because I was like, if I don't record this, I don't think my wife is going to believe that I learned how to sew and I sewed this thing together and put it together. I wanted her to see the process because I don't think she's going to believe me if I don't, right? I don't think she, like if I post it, if I like, hey babe, here's she's like, even in the video, she said like, where'd you get this from? And so like, I wanted her to see what I was willing to do for her. And, I think that was more so the main thing. I also went into it knowing that it could be a crapshoot. Like my wife could have not liked I was worried that the hoodie was going to be my Gordon Gartrell. Is it Gordon Gartrell or I was worried that it was going to be that from the Bill Cosby show. I didn't know how to sew. Like I had to learn how to do that, right? And it was a possibility that it wasn't going to come out right. It was a possibility that she wasn't going to like it. So I went into it creating the video thinking like, hey, I want to record some of what I'm doing. If I fail, I fail, and I'm probably not going to post a video. But I just want to record what I'm doing because I think it's pretty cool. And I think that has to be the ground, like the foundation of what you're doing as a content creator, in order for you to kind of stay grounded in this climate. Because again, virality is not the goal. My goal was honestly to create a memorable moment for me and my wife. Whether people shared it or not, I don't really. That's not what I did it for. And if I did it for that, if I did it to go viral, and it didn't go viral, where does that leave me? Right? Right? Like I have no control over whether people share a video or not. I have no control over like how well a video does. But I do have control over, my reasoning for creating a video. And so I I do want to take a quick break from that and talk about like one of the most common comments was apparently like something about Savannah, and that's a good man, Savannah. I keep hearing that post, and I'm assuming they're talking about like Savannah, like LeBron James, Savannah, uh, and saying that I have to look this up. I have to find this, and if I do find a clip, I'll insert it here. But you guys tell me in the comments below where does that come from? That's a good man, Savannah, and I think that comes from. Of course, I think I'm right when I say LeBron James, Savannah. That's the only Savannah that exists in my world is Savannah James. So I'm with you, ladies, on that. If that's what it is, but if it's something different, let me know in the comments below. But I thought that was pretty funny because that was like the like maybe 100 or so posts was that. And like that's the cool part about like social media is that like once something is a trend, because like sayings and stuff like that back in the day, I have no clue how they used to spread, but now I know they spread on social media, and seeing them spread on social media is pretty cool because now those sayings, and especially in the Black community, those sayings in the Black community like spread like wildfire, and everyone is on board. When in the past, those sayings would take some time to move and go from place to place, which is cool, pretty cool for us to be as connected as we are now. Okay, so now I really wanted to talk about why Tiffany and I, my wife, why we started doing pranks and why we stopped doing pranks. We used to do so. We have our channel, The Daily Davidsons, which we used to post content, or we still she still posts content on a consistent basis about just daily vlogs of our family. So if you are not subscribed to that, I would say subscribe. My wife makes some pretty cool videos, and also you can stay up to date on what we're doing as far as family, and maybe get a little bit more insight of who I am, and like that's another point that I want to make later on. But I want to talk about like what we like the road that we were on. Now Tiffany and I have been creating videos for a long time. I think I posted one of my first videos back in like 2009 or something like that. So we're fastly approaching 20 years of content creation that we've been posting. And Tiffany may be at that 20-year mark already. And back then, you didn't make money, creating content. You just created content just to create it. And so we got to the point where we were creating, family content, and then pranks, started to be like the big thing, especially amongst families and relationships, right? Boyfriends and girlfriends, husbands and wives, doing prank videos online. They were going viral, crazy viral. And we were like, hey, let's do some pranks too. So we started doing pranks, and we started posting videos of us pranking each other. Now it got real quick. Okay. It got real quick. And me being the person that I am, um, I I don't care about anything else other than genuine relationships. If I can't do it with someone who I have a genuine relationship with, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Like if I can't come and if you're a creator and I can't come meet your family, meet your kids, play some games with your kids real quick and really understand who you are and who your family is. If I can't do that and like get to know you first, I don't want to create content with you. I don't. Like if I can't do that and understand who you are as a person and have a real genuine connection with you, I don't want to do it. And that's one of my pillars, right? And so when we're creating this quote unquote viral content, and some of our content went viral creating pranks. When we started creating those videos, it got real really quickly. And to the point where it's like, okay, like if I create this video and there's some resentment there for me scaring you or pranking you or, scaring you out of your mind and you're still like thinking about that the next day, what are we doing here? Because at the end of the day, the most important thing to me is that I have a genuine relationship with my wife, right? At the end of the day, the most important thing to me is that me and my wife stay together, that we stay married, and that our bond is tight. If there's anything that will separate me from my wife, I will exclude it. If there's anything that is detrimental to my relationship with my wife and my family and my kids, I will remove it from my life. No questions asked. So as we're creating these type of content, I'm noticing that there has to be some type of lingering, effects, especially if the pranks are real. Now, if you don't know what's going on and I prank you, that's real, right? There's real emotions involved with that. There's real reactions involved with that. And there's real consequences and residual, emotions involved with that. There ultimately will be a sense of resentment. Like you prank me, get you back. Then you get me back, and then now I want to get you back. But then it keeps building and building on each other, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where, like, where are we right now? And who are we? Do I even like you anymore? Right? And I saw that coming, and I had a real conversation with my wife, and I said, hey, like, either we are going to keep going down this road, we're going to keep making videos like this, and you're going to resent me, or I'm going to resent you, and ultimately we'll end up resenting each other, which would lead to us not wanting to be with each other, not being happy together. Or we're going to fake these videos, right? We're going to make these videos, but we're going to fake the reaction. You're going to know about the prank. I'm going to know about the prank, and we're going to do a fake prank, and we're going to fool everybody else, right? And so both of those options, either one of those options didn't sit well with me, because if I'm going to create content, I want it to be real. Like I said, if I can't have a genuine connection, I don't want it. It's not worth it, right? I'm not creating content just to pander to people and let them see what they want to see. Like, and it's not real. It's just, like, no, that's not the goal. And I promise you, if you look back at all of the people who were creating those style of content, and I won't like let's speak specifically to like relationships. All those people who was creating that type of content, I promise you, their relationship does not exist today. They are no longer married. They are no longer, boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Maybe they've gotten into heated online social, like, drama, like that. That's ultimately where that road leads to destruction, right? And so it has a real world impact on relationships and personal integrity, right? When the content is made up and faked just to blow up. And for me personally, that's not what I want. Like, yeah, I want to make money. I don't want to lose my wife. I don't want to lose my family. Yeah, I want the nice cars and all that stuff, but I don't want it so bad that, no one around me likes to be around me. I don't have any genuine connections anymore because I have all the virality. Like, I don't want that. So here's a throwback to one of the pranks that we used to do. And I don't know. Funny, not funny. I don't know. One thing I do know, though, is that I was not going to allow something like this to break up my relationship. Maybe something else down the road, but it's not going to be that. It's not going to be something that I can control, right? And so that's the dark side of going viral, right? The dark side of virality is that it leads to people being dishonest. It leads to people pandering to their communities, and it leads to people doing things just to please the algorithm. And the algorithm is not human, right? That the algorithm doesn't know that you have feelings and emotions and have, relationships and families. It doesn't care about that, right? It cares about, hey, these are the things that we want you to make to go viral. Now, it's up to you to determine like how you plan to get there. That's not up to, like, we are not machines, right? And we can't operate in that way because they have real life consequences. Social media is not real life. It's not real. It's not. It's fake. It's a perception. It has a perceived value. It's not real. But you have a real life outside of that. And one of the other pitfalls people go into is that they try to divide and separate their real life and their social media life. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do that, but when you split your mind and your life into two different things, it ultimately it destroys you. It destroys you. People actually develop things like bipolarism. I think it's bipolarism. Or people like those become psychological issues, right? One of the things that, look, let me talk about this for a second. One of the things that's super interesting, like even talking to a camera like I am right now, right? Speaking to a camera, like vlogging everything, that actually affects your social interactions. It's easy to talk to a camera. The camera doesn't talk back. Like, nobody's talking back to me right now. I'm talking to a camera. There's a camera in the room. There's a light in here. Like, I'm speaking to a camera and there's no one speaking back to me. That is not natural. It is not normal. It has real life effects on people's social interactions. It becomes easier to speak to the camera than it does to speak to a real life person, because real life people speak back, right? You have to look real life people in the eye. And that physical interaction, that personal interaction, is not the same as speaking to a camera. It's not the same. And the more you do this and the less you do of the real social interactions, the harder the social interactions become, the less you feel comfortable in those situations. And it's important to understand that there are those consequences of creating content. The real question is, what are you going to do to combat that? Have social interactions, right? And so this is like, if you're going to get into social media or start creating content, this is important for like you to understand. Now, like, let's talk about some of the creators that, you know, pander to the audience, you know. And pandering to, what is pandering? Pandering is you create content just to appease the people who are watching. And you don't create content to be 100% honest. You will lie in order to make the audience feel better about themselves, about their situations, and their viewpoints, their political views, right? You create that content in order to make people laugh, make people, you know, entertain, right? At the expense of being honest, being true, having integrity, right? And those things lead to, it leads to destruction. Not only, it has real world consequences, right? So let's speak to some of those things. I mean, the financial financial incentive of doing whatever it takes to get the most clicks is a problem. Instead of being real and honest, you're creating content to get the most clicks. And there's a fine line there. Like, again, I want to talk about stuff here that people are talking about, of course. But my viewpoints and my content will not be just to appease what's going on in the world or appease the people who are watching my video. It's going to be my honest opinion, my honest thoughts. So this is prevalent in the Black community. This is very prevalent in the Black community. I think there's a lot of opportunists in social media, people seeing an opportunity and creating content that they probably shouldn't be creating, or they probably shouldn't be the one creating that content. And they have no qualification, and they have no real life evidence of what they're talking about. And I see this all over. But I'm gonna name some people that I think you should be wary of. And the first person I'm going to name is Dr. Umar. The Black community loves Dr. Umar, and he knows his audience, and he leans heavy into it. And I'm going to talk about in another video about like charismatic like personalities and stuff like that, and how like we lead to a Dr. Umar. I think I enjoy a lot of what Dr. Umar says. I do. A lot of his moments are viral. They're funny. I enjoy a lot of that. But I am weary of the man and his reasoning for doing it, right? He is a vessel for a lot of these podcasts to have on their show, right? To bring in revenue. Like, let's get somebody on the show. Let's get somebody on the show. Who we gonna get on the show? Yo, Dr. Umar always go, like, all his clips, he's always gonna say something outlandish that's gonna go viral. Let's book him on the show every now and then. And that's how he earns his money. He earns his money by going to different platforms. They pay him, I'm pretty sure. They pay him to be on those platforms. The problem that I have, and the reason why I brought up Dr. Umar, is the problem I want to have with him and his content is that he panders to black women. And I think a lot of what he says is true. I love my black queens. Black queens, you're amazing. I love you. I would not be here if it wasn't for my black queen, if it wasn't for my black mother, right? What Dr. Umar does is interesting because I see no evidence of his black queen. I know that he, I think he like married 2 women one time. I don't know. But I've also heard him say, I wish I would have got married before I started creating content. There's some contradiction there. And if you say my black queen, my black queen, I expect her to be on your arm and in your content. I expect to see the evidence of you and your black family and your black queen and your black kids. Why isn't that the content? Right? Why aren't you showing that? Where is the example of this? You talk about it, but I don't see it. I haven't. Have you seen any posts about it? Like him like posting about it, showing it, living it? I'll move on. Tonight's conversation, the fallout of that. I don't know. They might still be doing things. There are people on a panel giving you relationship advice who don't have relationships. Like I said, this is prevalent in the black community, right? I can go down a list of people who pretended to be things that they are not in real life. Pretended to they pander to the black community, to black women, to black men about things that they have no clue of, they've never lived, and they don't truly understand. I will never give anyone relationship advice that I have not experienced, lived, or understood fully. And even when I give you advice, it will be from what I experienced. Here's what I experienced. If it helps you, it helps you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I will not tell you what you should do or what you shouldn't do, because honestly, all is fair in love and war. And if you're in a relationship and, it's part of somebody, you've experienced all types of things, and you decide that this is what you want to go through or you want to experience, that is your decision. That is your decision. Now, I think that we can share our experiences. I think that we can share, our thoughts, but I do think that it should be coming from a genuine foundation of like, who are you? Who is your wife? Who is your family? And have you done this in your own life? My relationship is not perfect. My wife and I are not a perfect relationship. We are not by far. But one thing we have done is we have chosen to live this life together. And that's what we're doing. And so I think people need to come from a more genuine and honest space and not place themselves on a pedestal of like, hey, this is what you got to do. This is the advice. Because it really has real life effects on how people treat each other in real life, how people go about their days. People are watching these conversations and panels and living that out in real life. And it has real life effects on the dating pool and how people treat each other. Candace Owens, pandering and not being authentic. I know a lot of people don't like Candace Owens. The main reason why I don't like Candace Owens is because she is a panderer. She panders to whatever audience is going to pay the most money. Whatever is going to be the most viral post, she will post that because it earns her money. And that is it. That is all it's about. Let's talk about the Beast games, right? I mean, everybody loves Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. But I mean, this is an example. Now, Candace Owens is an example of someone who does it politically. Tonight's conversation is an example of someone who does it with relationships. And Dr. Umar is the ultimate example of someone who panders to a specific audience without showing evidence of this in real life. The Beast Games is an example of how money and virality drive decision making. Every video has to be bigger than the last. How do you do that, right? How do you continue to go down that road? Eventually, it becomes too big. All right, we're gonna 100,000, 100 million. We're gonna give you this money. You just gotta stay in. You gotta risk your life, and it shows what people will do for money. And eventually, what happens is people become immoral or do immoral things to earn money, right? You're putting people in these situations who actually are in dire need, and you're making them to do things in order to earn the money. It's a game show, but it has real life effects on people. It has real life effects. I don't know if you've seen the and this is my ADHD mind just kind of roaming around. I don't know if you've seen the documentary of Jerry Springer. And I was out, Jerry. I was doing that. I don't know about you. I was doing that. Jerry Springer was the show when I was. But if you watch the documentary, it becomes something dark, right? It becomes something that's not like, oh, if I would have known this was going on behind the scenes, if this is what they was doing, I probably wouldn't have watched that show. And the point that the people on that show got to, Jerry Springer might have been the first show that was driven by virality, driven by putting people in a situation regardless of the moral standing, like no moral compass there. Just in that video, one of the producers said, I would shoot a man on camera if I was allowed to do it, because the views and the content was king. I would do that. I will. He said, I will shoot a man on TV if I was allowed to, if I can get away with it. People are willing to do anything to have that viral moment. And I think I'll stop there, and we'll have this discussion. But the whole point for me is that if virality is the goal, you'll ultimately end up in a place where you don't want to be. So the goal has to be something else. And for me, I believe that goal should be creating content for genuine reasons and for the sake of creating content. That is the goal. Create content that you want to share, that has a purpose, that fulfills you, and has some moral foundation. And the more and more when I'll meet creators and I'll talk to people and I'll meet them, and the more and more I do that, the more and more I realize that it's a rarity to be in a well-known position on social media and have a moral compass, or like not pander to your audience. Because the temptation of pandering, the temptation of doing things just to go viral is so real and prevalent. So, you know, I my final thoughts is honestly that virality is a tool, is not the mission. And I really want to encourage you, if you're going to go into content creation, go in it for longevity and authenticity over short-term success. Virality is not the goal, and it ultimately does not lead to long-term success, because you have to keep going viral in order to stay viral. But if you create content that is real, that is genuine, that actually helps people, that actually has a purpose behind it, you'll find longevity. You might not find quick success, but you'll find longevity. And I just want to encourage you to do that, especially if you're going into this type of, if you want to start creating content. I think this is important to know the pitfall of that, right? And so, just drop a comment down below if you think that going viral is worth it. If you think that going viral is worth it, drop a comment down below. But I will talk about, I think in the next episode, we'll probably talk about my coaching journey, which, that's a whole nother story. And then we'll come back to some of the virality stuff that we talked about today, especially the pandering. We'll probably do a segment on just pandering alone. So remember, drop that comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.